Time to light the match for the burning truth with Casey Hendrickson.
Okay. Fort Wayne, you get a reprieve. Small one. Small reprieve. Fort Wayne has had, Morgan and I keep tracking this. Fort Wayne has had a string of pedophiles. And then we had a pedophile in Michigan City. And we're like, okay, Fort Wayne gets a day off. And then the next day, I think there was 2 new pedophiles in Fort Wayne that got detained. Now, 2 ways of looking at that. A lot of pedophiles in Fort Wayne, don't know why. But the other thing is Fort Wayne Police Department is doing their job and they're catching them, which is great. However, I'm going to leave you alone today for now, Fort Wayne. Who knows what breaks? And we're going to go to Indianapolis. Indianapolis' mayor, Joe Hogsett's right-hand man. You just gasped. Did you see the story?
No.
Oh, Morgan, audibly gasped. I'm like, okay. The mayor's right-hand man targeted younger women who worked under him, showering them with praise, poetry, and gifts, promising career growth as he pressured them towards intimacy and unwanted sexual encounters. This is according to not 1, not 2, 3 women. So he's, Thomas Cook is a little bit of a Harvey Weinstein. In Indianapolis, it appears. Allegedly. The women accused Thomas Cook of abusing his power for nearly a decade while serving under the Democratic mayor in a variety of roles, including 5 years as chief deputy mayor, the number 2 position in city government. As an aside, you remember all the stories about sex trafficking during the Super Bowl in Indianapolis? As an aside, totally unrelated. Cook presented with Indy Star's reporting. Did not answer questions on the record or respond to specific allegations. He did send a written statement. Here that is. Dating back a decade, I had consensual relationships that violated a trust placed in me. Uh-oh. What does that say, guys? What does that say? At no time did I seek to use my professional position to further those personal relationships. That being said, I understand these situations have raised legitimate concerns, and I apologize to all those involved. All right, listen, this is the thing, Thomas Cook, if you're listening, or anybody in Indianapolis right now who's listening to the show is in his circle, you just admitted you did it. Now, there is a large contingent in the Me Too movement of women who did, in fact, engage in consensual relationships. We're not pressured. We're not forced. We're not made promises. But they said they felt like they couldn't say no because man, powerful, me, just a whammon. So that, if that was the case, then Thomas Cook has to go, I never did any of this, but we did have a consensual relationship. But I never did any of the stuff that they're talking about. Did he say that, guys? No, he did not say that at all. That's a problem. That is a problem. By the way, I know it's a creepy thing, and you're all like, this is a creepy thing. I'm just trying to figure this out here. What enjoyment do you possibly get out of scoring with somebody who doesn't want to be with you? Is it a power thing, maybe? It could be a power thing, I guess. It could be a predatory power thing. But beyond that, I don't really see any reason for that. I don't know. It seems bizarre. But then again, there are people who will date people for their money, or will date people that they know are with them for their money, or what. So I guess it's a thing. Hogsett heard complaints about Cook's behavior as far back as 2017. Indy Star reporting found all of this out, yet he kept Cook in his inner circle until late last year. Cook repeatedly received the benefit of the doubt over 6 years and 3 investigations as he characterized repeated encounters with subordinate employees as consensual, which they may have been, at least in some of the circumstances here. You know, we're not necessarily, based on what we're seeing, we're not necessarily, able to rule that part out. The real question is, did he wield power in order to get said consent? That becomes the issue. Was the consent compelled? All 3 investigations concluded Cook, who was married for much of the time period, hopefully she's out of there, engaged in inappropriate relationships with employees in subordinate roles, according to a Hogsett administration statement provided to the Indy Star. You know what would have been great? It would have been great if the Indy Star had come out with this report before the last mayoral election. Not that the guy running against Hogsett was any better. But, and maybe they didn't have it. I'm not accusing the Indy Star of sitting on a story, but this is a doozy. The city takes any and all allegations of inappropriate workplace conduct extremely seriously, the Hogsett administration said. Do you, though? Now, I just told you that there were multiple investigations of Thomas Cook. Not one, not two, multiple. Going back years. Investigations that concluded that he was having inappropriate relationships with people. And the mayor of Indianapolis hid it from the public. And now the mayor of Indianapolis has the audacity of saying any and all allegations of inappropriate workplace conduct is extremely seriously. That we take this very seriously. No, you didn't. Because if you took it seriously, you wouldn't have kept the creep around in your administration, even as your number 2 guy who takes over if you have a really serious bowel movement and disappear like Lloyd Austin in the night. If you take these allegations seriously, Mayor, you wouldn't have left him in that position. And you would have quietly told everybody, if not publicly, most of this stuff circulates quietly in inner circles in politics, but you would have told everybody within your party that this dude is a creep. Don't give him any power, shun him, let him show up to fundraise dinners, and that's about it. But you hid it from everybody. You let him keep his job while he was doing it. You don't take this seriously. By the way, we have a similar story involving a Democrat politician in St. Joseph County. The third-term mayor declined to be interviewed for this story. No kidding. Although the allegations involved Cook's work on Hogsett's campaigns as well as for the city. Oh, man. So campaigning, too. Well, you got volunteers now? Promising them a job as a staffer? What a twisted SOB. The administration said that it reprimanded and disciplined Cook 3 times. Really? All right, I'm just going to ask. Okay, Brady's new here. Morgan's new, but less new. Brady's guy, Morgan's girl. I'm assuming their pronouns. What do you think would happen if I treated either one of you this way? What do you think John does? John, John, I'm gone. I am gone. Do you think I get reprimanded? There may have been an expletive that was verbalized across the room. There's no way I'm getting a reprimand to come back in and then do it again. And then get a reprimand and then come back in and then do it again. If you're in Indianapolis, there needs to be a lot of pressure applied to Mayor Hogsett right now, guys. This is not okay. Are you kidding me? Do I need to remind everybody that the United States Congress for many decades had a super secret slush fund that they paid into with your taxpayer dollars that were designed to hide crap like this. And there was a handshake agreement between the Republicans and the Democrats that if any of their people got accused of doing what Thomas Cook did, or worse, that they would pay off the victims with the slush fund that you and I paid for, and they would keep it quiet. It wouldn't get out to the news. It wouldn't turn up in a reelection campaign. There was a gentleman's agreement that we weren't going to nuke each other if we had staffers who were sexually abused by our elected representatives. And they let this slide for decades, folks. They all kept it a secret from you. All of the current leadership that is in the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, they, maybe not in the Republican Party. There's some newer people there in leadership. But certainly in the Democratic Party, they were all a part of it. All the times that the Democrats went out there and told you, it's a Republican war on women. We fight for women. We're the party of women. Meanwhile, they were paying off victims of their own personnel, their own elected officials, their own party members, when their party members sexually harassed or sexually assaulted a staffer. And then they went out there and they told you, they're the party of women. And they did it for decades. The administration said it reprimanded and disciplined Cook 3 times, kept him in his position. Ultimately led to his resignation from city employment in 2020. Later, so he resigned in 2020 from the city, but he still served on the campaign, guys, including the last one in 2023. Hey, he was... The guy who was abusing people in the city government was forced to resign from the city government, was let back on Hogsett's campaign in 2023. A campaign, by the way, that he could have easily lost if his opponent wasn't a brain-dead idiot. Not the smartest thing in the world to be a Republican and coming out and having all of these opportunities to unseat Hogsett and then go, I hate guns just like the Democrat does. Yeah, there goes the wind in your sails. It's all gone. 2 of the women have accused Cook of sexual harassment. 2 of these women, of the 3, say that Mayor Hogsett could have done more to prevent abuse if he had acted sooner and provided safer avenues for employees to report incidents. Yes, obviously. But listen, at the end of the day, you got somebody who's doing this crap, if it's legitimate, okay? I'm not saying you automatically nuke somebody who's been accused. But if it's legitimate and you have to reprimand that person's fired. Like, they're gone. Like, no. Sorry. You're not going to be the number 2 person in city government anymore later. And then after they have to resign for that, you let him back on your mayoral campaign last year? If I were citizens in Indianapolis right now, I would be I would be furious anyway because I am, but I would be absolutely furious. I'd have to look at the bylaws on this, but I don't think that you would be out of line demanding that he step down, ladies and gentlemen. If a mayor is going to allow somebody to prey upon women in his administration, and then after that guy is caught repeatedly and investigated and forced to resign, then gives him a job on his campaign 3 years later, where he does it again, I don't think that you're out of line demanding that the mayor of Indianapolis resign over this. Make it a national story. Got more coming up. You're tuned into The Burning Truth.
Banned from Facebook for life. You can follow Casey on X, on Truth Social, Rumble, and btmedia.news. You're listening to Casey Hendrickson and The Burning Truth. 95.3 MNC.
Podcasts by Federated Media.